Think of a situation in a room. What does it entail? It entails darters, and it also contains the detectives. The detectives who go in and want to really, really investigate what is going on truly. What is the root core of this issue, and what does it all mean to spell it out? That's what it indicates when you have the bold brattles in the white dot. That's what you're looking for. I'm Ever Carney, and in this video, I'm going to be discussing the planet of communication and thought, messenger planet Mercury, and the eighth sign of the zodiac in the birth chart, which is Scorpio. The big thing to know about this is not a placement that is looking for anything on the surface. It is looking for deep information, and it's looking for the absolute real and raw truth. That's what it's investigating. So it's going to come in and anchor its fangs down, anchor its wings down, its antennas down on that thing, and sort of like a machine that digs into the dirt, pulling up the treasure of what lies down in the dirt, pulling up what was hidden. That's what this placement can really, really excel at. But with all of that, this placement, if you have Mercury in Scorpio, if you were born with Mercury in Scorpio, you're either a Libra, Scorpio, or Sagittarius. Because Mercury is either in the sign before the sign the sun is in, the sign after the sun is in, or the same sign that the sun is in which case there might be what is known as a Sun Mercury cazimi, which is that Mercury is in the heart of the sun. It means the sun conjunct Mercury. That's just a fancy way to call it that. Anyway, this placement is all about really, really discussing what is deep and profound. What is grimy, diamond, dimey? What is Buddha doo 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 doo? What comes to be put in the maker shiftings? What really acts of the whole ways of the world that we have to talk about? And it wants to be absolutely real with what it's talking about. It doesn't look to communication on the surface. It wants to look beyond the facades, beyond the lies, but beyond the chit chat, and find out the real truth of what is going on behind that person's words, of what is going on in their mind and their soul that are causing them to say these words, to have these kind of conversations, to write, to communicate, to verbalize. What's the deeper message and the deeper meaning within all the details and all the words they're saying? What are they really saying? What are they really implying? By their tone, by their facial expressions, by their words. What are they really all about? What really are their motives? What are they thinking really? What are they feeling really? That's what this placement wants to investigate, and it will do everything it can in order to get that truth. This placement looks very, very critically at human motivations. It's very curious about psychology, why people do what they do. What's the motivation behind why they're doing what they're doing, why they're saying what they're doing? And it wants to really, really look very precisely at that. And it's very into psychology. It's really into those deep occult. It's very into occult like topics. It's into deep, um, learning and deep conversation. So, um, it's very curious. This placement indicates somebody who is very curious, not on the surface level, but who wants to dig deep and find the treasures of the gold that lies beneath that soil. To find, the truth. It is Gemini, but with the intense need to dig deep down, in order to, find what is really going on behind the scenes. There is a need here to absolutely need to know how everything works, how the cogs works in the machine, how the lawnmower works, how the calendar works, how the fire hydrant works. This is where their gamut ranges are. You have to think about how they want to sort of know the mechanisms and the workings of everything that they have to put themselves into basins. So they want to reveal the truth in all aspects of their life. They want to find the truth and get rid of anything that covers up the truth, remove the masks and get to that truth. That's what they're all about. They can solve mysteries about people and situations and really understanding the true insight that the person is saying. That's something that they're into. And so this placement, anyone born with this placement is sort of growing and, maturing to become aware of their intense emotions, their intense thoughts that they have tied to their emotions. That's the case with all water Mercuries, is that the mind and the emotions are not separate, but they are one. They are enmeshed together. So there has to be this awareness that has to be put from overpowering, overwhelming, intense emotions to what is rational, reasonable, and logical. So balancing these two very, very well is very, very important. Being aware of how the intense emotions overpowers the logical thinking process because those intense feelings could override that mind where you could do impulsive things, very destructive things. Scorpio is a sign which can eliminate one part of something in order to change the whole of something. It can go to extremes, all or nothing, black or white, wiping it out, destroying it in an extreme, broad, big way. So instead of remodeling just the kitchen, they destroyed the whole entire house just to remodel the kitchen. So you can see. My example with this is that in the past I have deleted a whole YouTube channel of videos instead of some of the videos that were, whatever, really burning something to the ground. I shouldn't get into that. I'm not going to get into it. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there that Scorpio is a sign of extremes. Um, And so this is all about the key here is to be curious. Curiosity is your superpower. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. But you want to be curious, you want to be open-minded. That's very, very important. Your communication style is very intense, it's very profound. You want to discover and uncover the hidden meanings and truths beyond the surface of things in your life. So discovering why things are the way they are really. So the deeper truths beyond what lies on the surface, as I've talked about before in this video. They also can have the power of persuasion. They can persuade people from their words because Scorpio is good at luring others in, pulling others in with their words and their ability to tap into that person's psyche and power and influence them to want to follow them. That's Scorpio's strong. So using your scorpionic powers of manipulation, of compensation, of persuasion to um to get others on their side. You may bring to light what others want to keep hidden. There may be parts of them that they don't want looked at, they don't want acknowledged. Shadow selves, shadow sides. But what you do is you bring to light what is hidden. You bring to light what is, below the surface. You bring to light what is going on in others very, very deeply, bring that up to, you basically bring it up for healing. You bring it up for it to be acknowledged. So you can captivate and hold the attention of your audience very, very easily. There's an engaging quality that you have. And so, um, you communicate your thoughts with intensity. You have very, very intense thoughts that you want to communicate, but with intensity, you communicate them in that kind of way. There's certain connections that other people have to certain people that others might overlook, but you don't overlook those connections. You have the drive to uncover the truth. You may be skeptical. You may be suspicious, very discerning, like, oh, something feels weird here. I'm not going to go in this situation. Oh, something feels weird here. I'm going to investigate this. So that's really what it's all about for you. So, there is this intellectual honesty that you have to want to be transparent, to want to be honest about things. You desire transformative knowledge in any subject that allows you to grow and evolve as a soul in a human body, living a human experience. So, um, that's really your gamut. So, uncovering the hidden layers of reality is a big part of this. Delving into the mysteries of reality, solving those mysteries. You seek, as I said before, what's also very important is you are a detective. You dig deep into conversations and words. You think very deeply. Um, you want to get to the bottom of what is happening. This is a good placement for talking about taboo topics or very difficult, challenging topics to discuss and really not being afraid to go to the shadow, not being afraid to go there and have those conversations and work out those issues, to have open conversations about relationships and finances, for instance. You are very intensive if you have this placement. Um, you want to get to the bottom of things. As I said before, including suspicions and the questions you have, you dig deep to find the answers. Um, Now, you can also be fairly private. That's another key feature here is that you're very private. You want to keep things under wraps. You want to keep things hidden. Um, and so you don't just open up to anybody and start spilling the beans and start sharing and being extrovert and being sociable. You keep the things private and you open up to the people that you can trust that they're not going to tell other people that they're not going to backstab you or whatever that they might do. Uh, to you that may be in the negative ranges being. And so, you open up when you can trust that person. It's hard for you to let things and people go. Once somebody hurts you, when somebody does you wrong, you do not forget it. You find it very, very difficult to forgive it because you remember how much pain that person caused you. You may be very sensitive to changes, crisis, drama. You may be very, very sensitive to that where you want to create that drama, even though none exists, to have that thrill, to have that exhilarating feeling of wanting to delve into mysteries of that Scorpio delicious quality. And as a South Node Scorpio, when I was young, in my own very small way, I used to create those situations from my imagination, but now I don't do that anymore. So, yeah. So there's the sense of thinking that something is happening when it really is not happening. So you want to learn right into their secrets, seeing right to people's souls, and knowing who they truly are, going beyond the chit chat, going beyond all that, going to who they truly are. Your words have power. Your words are spells. So you're very, very highly aware of this. I don't need to remind you about it. You're innately aware of it. And so you're very naturally cautious about your speech. You're naturally very careful about what comes out of your mouth because you know how powerful those words can impact others, either positively or negatively. You're very intelligent and you cut right to the surface. You can also be very analytical with this placement. Very analytical, very detail oriented in your own way, similar to Mercury and Virgo. Um, when you set your sights on something, when you set your mind on whatever goal that you want to achieve, you will achieve it. You will drive that car to the end of the desert. You will be in it for the long haul. You will commit to it. You will see it through to completion. You will have it manifested fully in your reality. What is an important thing that I should mention here is that the sign Mercury and Scorpio, if you have this placement, you want to look to your Mars sign and house placement and your Pluto sign and house placement. Mars and Pluto are the two rulers of Scorpio. Mars is the ancient ruler or the original ruler. Pluto is the modern ruler. And Pluto is a generational planet. Mars is a personal planet. So these planets are different. Pluto is the hierarchy of Mars in astrology. It is believed by some astrologers that that is to be true. And so you want to look to what is going on with Mars and Pluto in your chart to really get a full picture of how you express your Mercury in Scorpio. So it all kind of overlaps and connects in that kind of way. So um, this is a highly intense placement. You are a highly intense communicator, thinker, that kind of thing. You learn things very intuitively. You learn things on an emotional base level, on a feeling based level. Um, you can be emotionally intense, very, very much emotionally intense. But you can also be rational. As much as you can be intense, you can be rational at the same time. So this is all about making plans that you want to make, attending to the details that need to be taken care of, and figuring out how to get what you want and get what you want. There may be conversations here that may involve you having intrusive thoughts, obsessions with things, people, places, situations, objects, ideas, and mental health issues such as depression and anxiety and certain disorders, mental health disorders, like ADHD or OCD or those kind of things like that. And I'm not suggesting this is absolutely the case, but this does increase the likelihood of somebody having OCD with this placement. OCD is very representative of Mercury and Scorpio. And I have gotten over most of OCD. It still kind of hangs around me, but person I was 2 years ago is a very different person than I am now. I have done the work to get over that. I have stopped washing my hands so much. My skin is normal and better because I wash my hands less and I put more lotion on to help my skin to heal. So, but this placement could be about where you have these obsessions and these need to be compulsion to really, really dig deep, to dig deep and really go at something again and again to make sure this is the way that you want it, the way that it should be, pulling out everything of the case before you move on to the next case, that kind of thing. You value your alone time. You are more of the introverted type of your displacement. You need secrecy, you need privacy, you need your alone time. I think of living in a cave or a sheltered place, which is Scorpio, because it wants to be secretive. It wants to understand other secrets at a deeper level, but it doesn't like it at all when people expose the Scorpio's secrets. It's kind of a dichotomy. Scorpio is a dichotomous sign, and Mercury in Scorpio is a placement filled with dichotomy in it. Um, you're more of a listener than a talker. It does depend on other aspects of the natal chart. You may be slow to open up to others. Maybe slow. Yeah, it's hard for you to open up to others and really share what you have to share. You're good at picking up on subtle clues that go on. You're big into observing people. Cultural anthropology, psychology, job shadowing, observing people and what they do and wondering why they do what they do. You can see through the lies that others tell you to see the truth. Um, you can, truly see through those lies, um, and see what is really going on. You're very passionate and energetic. That's something very, very huge with this placement. You can be dominating, controlling. You can also be brutally honest when it comes to you speaking. being honest about what you say. You communicate in an honest way, and you communicate honestly in saying what is honest, and you pride yourself on that. You have the desire to speak the truth, which some people might not be ready for that truth. Some people might not be ready for that wisdom that you have, that the depth of all that you have. And some people might not be ready to face that, do the healing work, that you care about people so much that you want to get to the truth, and showing that kind of tough love to others because you genuinely care about them. Scorpio can be one of the most caring signs in the zodiac because it is so deep, it is so profound. It wants to transform you. It wants you to evolve and to be the best version that you are. It gets right to the truth and really supports you, possibly inspires you, and it can motivate you to do that healing work, to grow and to transform. Um, and so, yeah, that's really what I wanted to say on that. And then when you do that work, you feel so much better in the end. Um, Others may think you are rude for you speaking the truth, but that's who you are. You are not. You do not mince words. Um, you're all about you're all about using your insight into human nature to support others. You intuitively know the root of the problem. Um, getting down into that, the functions of the human psyche. You may be into psychology if you have this placement. You may be drawn to um you may be drawn to the mysteries and taboo areas of life. You want to get to the bottom of something, learning everything that you can about a certain topic. You're not like Gemini who learns a little bit of this, learns a little bit of that. You take one topic, you take the deep dive, you learn as much as you can on that topic, you become obsessed with that topic, and then once the fire dies out, you move on to another topic. They do not forget and do not forgive easily. It may be hard for them to let go of a lot of things. They're good at manipulation. They're good at getting information from others. They know how others check. Um, and if there is any unfinished business from the past, it can really come up to bother you. Can be very disturbing and very troubling and really matter a lot to you to get that resolved. Um, you want to heal others through, you want to heal others' work, help others work through their troubles and getting to the root of complex problems and really supporting them and really delving deep in order to help them pulling out the shadows and giving that real raw advice and guidance that they might not be ready to face, but if they follow it, they'll probably feel so much more liberated, so much better. So that's all that I have on Mercury and Scorpio in the birth chart. This was a deep dive video into Mercury and Scorpio, and I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video for that. And if you did, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video, which will be perhaps on Mercury in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, which is going to be the next video that I'm going to be coming out with in a couple of days' time, or the weekly astrology video. If you're watching this on the day this is getting published, the weekly astrology video for the week of September 7th through the 13th. So either one of those videos will be out in a couple of days. It just depends on natural factors. But anyway, bye for now, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you in my next video.